Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Jamie, and this is the best magicians you have never heard of. Today's guest comes to us straight from Los Angeles, California, where he does kids and adult shows. He won a FISM trophy for comedy in Spain. He's also placed first in the I.B.M. convention gold medal stage competition. Everybody please welcome Robert Baxt.
We know it doesn't matter how they try to tear us down. Caldwell Panker is the best. Thank you.
Have on my show. Isn't that right, plate spinning guy?
All right, Robert, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing great. I hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. That's the most important thing.
Okay, so why don't you do us a favor? Let us know, what it is you love about magic, how you got into magic. Did you ever do anything else?
I have never had a real job in my entire life. I am one of the luckiest people on earth. I started doing magic when I was about 9, 10 years old. When I was 11, I wandered upstairs to the second floor above a bar in New York City, a magic shop that had been there for over 100 years. It had been known as Matinka's. It had been known as Ducrow's. By the time I got up there in the late 70s, it was known as Al Flosso's Magic Shop. Al Flosso had bought the place after Houdini died, because Houdini had owned it at one point. And 50 years later, after he bought it, I wander up, he's still there. He is 85 years old, with gusts up to 90. He becomes like Yoda to me. He is that short, he is that old, he is that wrinkled. And he taught me a lot of what I know about magic, but also a lot of what I know about life. So I actually went to work in his magic shop. Working meant really, kid, here's a buck. Go down to the street, get me a lemonade, come right back up, bring me the change. So I do that. The first day I walk in, then he goes, kid, here's $5. Go to the post office on the corner, get me stamps, bring the change. And I did that. Next thing I know, I'm working for him. The one thing he'd never let me do, he'd never let me sweep. He'd go, kid, put down that broom. Don't touch that dust. Houdini once stood in that dust. And to this day, I really do have a little vial somewhere here of that dust from the floor of Flosso's Magic Shop.
Wow.
So there I am doing magic at, 11 years old. And by the time I was 14, I was making money doing, birthday parties for 6 and 7-year-olds. Because, hey, when you're 14, let you work for anybody else. By the time I was 17, I had a car that I bought myself. At 17, I think I had more money in my pocket each week than my dad did. So I remember my dad, when I first told my dad I was making $50 for an hour show, my dad got all excited because he started thinking, wow, $50 an hour, and thinking a 40-hour work week, he was getting ready to retire and support him. And I had to go, Dad, calm down. I can only do 1 or 2 or 3 shows a day, and that's only on weekends. Nobody wants me on Tuesday morning at 10:30, okay? So I put myself through college, doing magic shows. After college, I actually went to law school. I hate to say it, only because I figured if I was going to cheat people, I might as well cheat them honestly and be a magician.
Now, is it really true that you were accepted to 2 different places?
I was accepted to both. The same time I got the acceptance letter to law school, I was also accepted to Ringling Bros Clown College. And I really had to sit there and think about which was the better opportunity. I'll tell you what made me choose. I lived in New York City, and so the auditions were held in Madison Square Garden. And I had some friends, Madison Square Garden, for those who don't know, that's Midtown Manhattan. I had some friends, they took me back to the circus train, the train that the clowns all lived on and stuff. And this was an old World War II troop transport train. They were still using in the 80s. And the rooms for the clowns, each clown had a room about as big as a closet. Literally, there was just enough room to open the door, and there was the bed. And that was it. And I even went, well, what if you're a really tall clown or something and you don't fit in this bunk? And they took me to another room where there was a hole cut out at the end and stuck into somebody else's room so that the tall clown's feet actually went into the other guy's bed. I went, well, who sleeps in the other bed? And they went, one of the midget clowns. And I went, wow. Then they showed me the bathroom. There was only one bathroom on the entire train car for all 26 clowns or something. And there was no shower. One of the clowns is explaining to me that when you got to a rest stop somewhere and the train wasn't moving, you would take a gallon jug of milk that you'd emptied out and cleaned and pour water over yourself and scrub yourself clean that way. And I went, you know, this may not be the life for me. So I went to law school, and I hated law school. It was not my cup of tea. Although I studied entertainment law, thinking I would be a lawyer for performers and magicians like me. But I disliked law school so much. But I'm studious. I had to get through it. I have Jewish parents. It was either law school or medical school, so I had to go. I got through the first year, and the International Brotherhood of Magicians Convention was being held. And each year, the International Brotherhood of Magicians Convention, this is the national convention, they would have a big contest. Lance Burton had won a couple of years earlier and stuff, the gold medal competition. And I was doing a comedy manipulation act, not this talking stuff that I do now, all that, you know, stuff, all this stuff, but with comedy. Many people who've seen me do it say it was one of the funniest things they ever saw. And I entered it with no hope of winning. I didn't even want to win because I knew no comedy act had ever won the contest. But I was hoping just to make one of the finals because the 6 finalists got to appear on the evening stage show. And all I wanted to be was one of the 6 finalists. There were like over 300 contestants that year. It took like 5 days, I think, for them to get through all the contestants and stuff. And I made it to the finals. And then when they announced the winners, I, Robert Baxt, won first prize in the gold medal competition. Lance Burton handed me the trophy. To this day, I haven't dusted it. It's still got his DNA on it, okay? I was in shock, and I didn't know what to do because I still had 2 more years of law school. And the first year of law school is like the toughest one. On purpose, they do that. The dean of law school always goes the first year of every law school class. Look to the right, look to the left. Those guys won't be here when you graduate. There's a high attrition rate. I made it through the second year of law school, but now with this act, I was getting all sorts of offers and stuff. Because one of these 12-minute silent acts like Johnny Thompson or Cole and Company that I could do anywhere around the world because there wasn't a lot of talking into it. No talking. Me, a very normal guy, not talking. Hard to believe. And then FISM came along. FISM came along, and I knew FISM was only held once every 3 years, but the bar exam was held every 6 months. So when I graduated law school, my choice was, do I take the bar exam? Do I go to FISM? Went to FISM, and I came back with a comedy trophy. And that was it. I gave the diploma to my mother. I said, here it is, the most expensive square yard of wallpaper any son has ever given their mother. I'm off to be a magician. And she didn't find that fun. But I don't care. I paid for that law school diploma myself. I had law school loans, and it took me like 15 years to pay them off. But I paid them off all through magic. And then a great thing happened. I grew up in New York City, which is the greatest city on earth up until the COVID crisis. Everything you could possibly want is on the island of Manhattan. And I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So I was just a subway ride away. I get a phone call from the Magic Castle, the It's Magic Show. Not the Magic Castle shows, which are held at the Magic Castle where their largest theater is only like 175 seats. Each year they put on a big show in a 2,000-seat theater. And someone had tripped, died, or broken a leg. And I get a phone call on Thursday. Could you be here on Sunday and do that act you won FISM with? And I went, yes, I could. And it was only supposed to be a 2-week run, but then they booked me for a week in the castle afterwards. And then there was another place called the Magic Island in Orange, California, about an hour away. I wound up working there. And my 2 weeks in Los Angeles spread out to be like 6 or 7 or 8 weeks. And in New York, when I had left, it was November, and people are freezing and wearing their winter coats and their snow boots and going through slush. And when I got out to Los Angeles, it was 72 degrees and people are wearing short sleeves and shorts. And I went, I'm not going back. I packed up all my stuff in New York. I found a tiny apartment on Franklin Avenue, down the block from the Magic Castle. It was a wonderful little building. It was like Melrose Place, that little center court with like 10 or 12 apartments. At one point, we had like 8 magicians living there. You could knock on somebody's door and go, hi, can I borrow a cup of fanning powder?
Okay, Robert, so you got a performance set up for us. Let's see what you got.
All right, so start my performance the way I start all my performances, with something flashy. The trick everyone has seen on TV, but it's different because I'm going to do it live. And of course, the trick that can't be done much in the future because you can't do this with an iPad. The trick where it looks like the newspaper is being ripped. The trick where it sounds like the newspaper is being ripped. The trick where tomorrow you will say, I could have sworn I saw that funny guy, Robert Baxt, ripping that paper into a million, billion little teeny tiny pieces. But even though you see a million, billion little teeny tiny pieces in front of you at all times, you guys only applaud and go crazy for me if I can take all the pieces and I can do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh, wait, I'm getting that light behind me. Let me sure stand in front of it. Here's some other stuff, of course, because of the world we're in. I always got to remind everyone, please remember to wash your hands. It's important at all times. You follow rules, you stay apart, you wash your hands, and what else? Wear a mask. All right, so now, since all the audience participation stuff that I'm used to doing, I can't do anymore, I've been coming up with new material. And so right now it's time for magic in rhyme. In days of old, when men were bold, and dinner was much cheaper, there lived in the ocean where it was deep, and even a little bit deeper, under the sea where it was cold, dark, and wet, a lobster named Louis, who got caught in this net. Now, Louis was taken to a restaurant lobster tank, and he knew he had to get out of there because the situation stank. But Louis would never wind up on a plate with any linguine because Louis was the world's greatest lobster escape artist, an aquatic Houdini. The first thing Louis did, he crawled out of that tank. And he knew it would be best for him if he hid. So he disguised himself as a lobster bib. But that didn't work. And Louis was nabbed. Around the tail, he was grabbed. But have no worries and never fear, because Louis knew how to disappear. Because I know this is going to sound screwy, but back in the ocean, under the water, swimming away from that net, there was Louis the lobster, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, if you're 7 years old, this was probably your favorite part of the show. All right, one last thing that I'll do, and then we'll talk about magic in general. The trick that has made me famous all across England, Europe, Spain, Africa, Australia, France, Israel, Belgium, Germany, Montreal, and certain parts of Compton. Some of you have been there. The trick where the handkerchief goes into the hand and comes out instead a full-sized can of soda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know you'd be applauding right now. But I must tell you the truth, everyone. Sadly, it's an empty soda can. And as long as I'm giving away all the secrets of magic, I got to tell you the truth. It's a imitation soda can. This is the soda can that guys use in movies and television shows to pretend to be tough. You know, it's like, my name is Arnold. I used to be a governor, and I must go back to doing bad action films. And as long as I'm giving away all the secrets of magic, I got to tell you the truth, everyone. I didn't even make the handkerchief disappear. Actually, all I did was stick it down through the little hole in the top of the can like that. You liked it all the first time I did it. Now you're developing taste on me. Look, let me show you the fine points. This way you can go home and fool your friends. The magicians all know where this is going, okay? You start off with a handkerchief in the pocket. Conceal the can in your hand, holding your hand in a perfectly natural manner. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? Don't worry, nobody's going to be looking at your hand. They're too busy watching the handkerchief as you wave it around. You take the handkerchief. You stick it down into the hole on top of the can. When it's all the way down inside the hole on top of the can, you display the can, and everybody gives you that big round of applause. Well, you people know about the can folding up and everything, and that it's rubber and stuff like that, so it's not much of a trick. Or is it? Because if I were to reach up and peel the hole off, and then I were to open the can, I would be able to toast you all for watching Jamie's program.
Yes, very good, very good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. There you go, magic from Robert Baxt.
That was fantastic. I loved it.
Do I still have the dot on my cheek? Oh,
You can barely notice.
yeah, thanks. I'm Robert De Niro. Okay, so there you go. That's the type of magic that I do. All fun stuff that I think people enjoy. I'm not trying to fool them. I'm trying to entertain them. And I like to think I'm doing a good job.
If you were going to do something to a friend or something for purely entertainment purposes to yourself, even you're performing, it's something that just makes you happy, and you're going to do something for a friend, what would it be?
Mentalism. I know I don't look like a mentalist type guy. I'm certainly no Max Maven. Absolutely not. I'm not a Banachek. I'm not any of those guys, but maybe I'm more like a John Archer. I truly believe it is possible to be funny and do mentalism. And to me, the juxtaposition of funny and brain-numbing mentalism is like the sweet and salty in an Oreo cookie or something like that.
I can't say that would be a common thing. I don't think I've seen very many mentalists that were also funny.
Well, then you have to come watch me work sometime. Yeah, because they're going, ha, 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 laugh, 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 joke, 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 joke. And then I've just fried them. And they are just gobsmacked. Wait, what? Mr. Funny Boy just what? Watching their heads blow up. So just for my own benefit, that's what I like to do, some incredible mentalism, but done in my style of amusing things.
I do some mental magic, but I wouldn't say I do mentalism.
Okay.
I do, some, and most of the time, the only time I do mentalist stuff is if somebody specifically asks me, like, can I pick a card and you can divine it or something like that? Only when it's requested. I've got like 3 go-tos that I do. So I can't call it mentalism. I call it some mental magic.
Again, the thing is, everything else that isn't mentalism is a magic trick. By its very definition, by the word you describe it as, these are magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trick. Somehow, when you do mentalism, even though I've told you it's all tricks, I'm never going to say that I can really read minds or I have true psychic powers. Somehow, though, it doesn't seem like a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Me, that's what brings it to the next level. Especially because before all this, it was funny, comedy. No, it's no longer funny, is it? It's deadly serious. And that juxtaposition of the two is what appeals to me.
I don't know if we talked about it when we talked the first time, but one thing I always loved to use was Flexion pens, erasable pens, right? And I have some really cool prediction tricks using a Flexion, and it involves, it could be anything, but it could involve a lockbox, or it could even be some sort of nesting mechanism of something, and it ends up an impossible prediction that's wrong, right?
Right?
And you see it, and it's totally wrong, not even close, right? And then you add heat to it, and the picture changes in front of you. It just melts away, and suddenly is now a good prediction, and it's accurate. It's when there's something that when I want to just totally fry an audience, and it's not just, you know, it's not just a few people, then I'll do something like that, and it hurts. And so I agree with you on the mentalism part. That would be my most mentalism trick, other than I've got a one ahead prediction thing that I do for fairly large groups.
Jamie, please think about this. Let me or somebody else interview you for one of these, because I think that would be wonderful that everyone out there could see your style and your thoughts. So make a note of that, and let's work on that. So we should do it sooner rather than later. While you're thinking, let me just put this shout out there. This all started on Surplus Magic Exchange and SME Talk.
Yes,
So,
it did.
big thank you to the current owner, Eric Danny, and to the previous owners, Dennis Van der Houen and Christopher Faria, because without them, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have made so many friends. I wouldn't have this valuable, valuable resource. When I ask a question on SME Talk, I am always shocked by all the great answers that I get. So allow me to personally thank everybody out there who's ever answered one of my questions on SMA Talk. I'm very grateful to you.
I had Eric on the show. I think it was episode 10 or 11, and he was great. He's such a passionate guy. But I said the exact same thing to him. Anything anybody posts on SME, it could be the vaguest picture of some old something, and with no description, and boom, somebody on SME knows exactly what it is, probably has it or know who made it, detailed blueprints. It's crazy.
Yep. A brain trust of incredible knowledge that we're also kind and happy to share with each other. When people ask questions that I know something about, I'm thrilled and excited to tell them
Love
what
it.
else.
I mean,
Practice your Zoom shows out there.
yeah,
Don't say I don't have the equipment. You can do it on your phone. You don't need special lights. You can buy some clamp-on lamps from the hardware store. People are desperate for something different. Do a Zoom show.
How is the audience participation with your Zoom show?
I keep the audience participation down to a minimum. As you just saw me do, or you will see me do in a moment, depending on how we edit this. A lot of the stuff that I've been doing for Zoom shows is visuals, because to me it's clunky to use an audience participant. I have been using audience participants, unmuting them, but I'm so surprised how unsophisticated people are when it comes to using Zoom. They don't know to hit their space bar. They don't know the controls. They don't realize the dog is barking behind them. They don't realize their husband is walking by in their underwear in the scene and stuff like that. So keep it down to just 1, 2, or 3 tricks in any 35, 45-minute show that use audience participation. And of course, that's all I've been doing, working on new material for audience participation, where nobody has to actually physically pick a card, but they can choose one through the screen. They can make I can do a prediction. I personally don't do card tricks. Please, all you card magicians out there, don't hurt me, okay? Robert Baxt, this is just my humble opinion. Your opinion's different, and that's okay. I have never felt a close emotional bond to the 2 of hearts. Never once have I cried over the 7 of spades. So I tend to stay away from card tricks as much as I possibly can. But there are so many magic tricks that are based on card trick principles that can be done. It's still the same sleight. I can do a top change with a stack of cereal boxes. I don't have to do a top change with a deck of playing cards. But once I do it with cereal boxes, everyone goes, oh yeah, we eat cereal every morning for breakfast. We know what cereal is. And so there's more of an emotional bond with the 3 of diamonds, not the 3 of diamonds, but with Captain Crunch cereal or Special K or something like that. So always remember, the job doesn't go to the best performer. The job goes to the performer who knows best how to get the job.
Most of the stuff that I watch you do with your high energy, people just can't stop smiling. It's great. That's an excellent thing to have. And the comedy that you do is very, what do I want to say? It's very clean and
Yeah.
no easy jokes. They're all funny for great reasons. And that makes you different and special and quirky and just really good. Entertaining. That's what you are. You're entertaining. Whether it was magic or not, I don't think it would matter. You're a very entertaining guy.
I've got a bunch of other bits and pieces that I do on my shows that's not strictly magic, but it is all entertainment. And that would be my motto: entertainment first, magic second. And some of the magicians will hate me. Oh, magic's the most important thing. It has to be magic. And I'm like, okay, that's the way you do it. Me, I won't, but whatever you want.
I know you get your website and you're selling that newspaper gimmick and everything else.
Again,
I'll put it up here too.
I'm grateful to you.
What else do you have going on? What else do you have on there? What other? How do people get a hold of you for Zoom shows or for even live shows?
I'm trying to say it's why look, robertbaxt.com is where I can be reached, and my email is robert@robertbaxt.com. If anyone has any questions, anyone has anything they want to discuss with me, I'm always very, very happy to help in between doing my own shows and stuff like that. Again, what happened was 10 years ago, I got married more than 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, we decided to have a child. And the baby's now 7.5 years old, going on 17. So rather than traveling the world, and I do my best to stay home. I live in Los Angeles, so there are plenty of corporate dates and private parties and high-end Beverly Hills events and stuff. So sleeping in my own bed with my wife is a fine and wonderful thing. So yeah, I coach other magicians. I write material for other magicians. I think I sent you a clip of one of the David Copperfield specials from ages ago where I'm in the credits.
Saw the credits, yeah.
I think I sent you a video. There's a clip on YouTube of Joseph Gabriel, the famous dove worker who, don't forget, a dove act is only like 12 minutes. When he works on cruises and other places, he has to do much longer time. And some of the time he does is stuff that I've written for him and stuff. So I write jokes for other performers. I coach. I sell stuff online. I do shows. I live a wonderful life. I've got a house in Los Angeles. Ooh, houses in Los Angeles aren't cheap. I got this garage full of magic. And magic has been the most wonderful thing in my life. I am so very happy I didn't become a lawyer. And I'm so very happy all the friends I've made through magic, including you, Jamie. I'm extremely grateful to you for having me on your show today. I appreciate you so much. Please, let's do your interview next.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, Robert. I really want to thank you for being on the show. You're so great to talk to, and it's such high energy. You just can't help but be interested. I want to thank everybody who's watching today. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit like and subscribe. You've been watching The Best Magicians You've Never Heard of with Robert Baxt, and now you've heard of him.